Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at this fancy new Nidhoger fleet issue, and we're going to be having some fun with it. So I'm running these Assault Pulsar Heavies. They just got released in the cash grab boxes. You can see the stats. I'm running aerospace, so they're not super fast, but they do decent damage and they're alright. This is the implant I'm using. It's aerospace. I only have it at level 38, but I'm running kind of a science-y fit, so I have the mothership command on. And we're not going to be using the fighter micro warp drive GU, I just have it on there. The advanced unit, obviously, and the output boost for the shield booster, which we don't really need because we're running some kind of ratting buffer fit that I just quickly put on there. This is more of a DPS test, so I have 3 damage mods, etc. Shield resistances are super unbalanced on this ship. There's a huge EM hole, so that's worth noting. Okay, so the rigs I'm running for this specific test are the burst aerators. I'm running 3 of them, as you can see. Now let's go look at our hot stats. I also have the fighter hanger mod. That helps. It all helps. Okay, here we are. I do kind of like the skin they added. It's kind of cool, the camo. Alright, so damage mod's hot. Let's have a look at how we're doing. 25,000 DPS. That's actually pretty damn good without a nanocore. And without aerospace, 15 kilometer optimal range. It's okay. Accuracy false, 8. This is one of my favorite things about the aerospace is just how much optimal range you get. Turn them into little mini sentries. So for ratting, like, that's perfect. Nothing's ever really more than 40 kilometers away from you. So that works well. Anyway, let's go do some missions just to test. So I decided to do a lab as well as one of those brand new missions just to kind of see how fast we could push through this lab. So let's get into warp here and see how we do. Okay, here we are landing. And this is Caldari space. So because these fighters do so much EM damage, we're going to be applying like extra hard with these nice pulsars. And one thing I noticed compared to ratting in my Science-y, I normally run integrated furbolgs on my Science-y, but because there's 4 flights of fighters, it almost seems like you go through the smaller targets a little bit faster with the Navy issue. I'm not sure if that's just me or if it's actually true. But I'm going to speed this up so you don't have to watch me rat, because you're not even making any ISK watching me rat. Okay, I don't rat a lot, but those of you guys that rat a lot, looks like this took me exactly 6 minutes and 20 seconds. So I'm not sure if that's fast for a lab, but there you go. Okay, here we are in Ancilla, and we're going to do that special anom, that event anom or whatever. So let's go ahead and warp to the anom here. Yeah, Iron Blood Sepulture. Blah blah blah. Who cares? Okay, one cool thing about this event is like they did design some new rats. Like that's nice. I love this camo. This is actually my first time doing one of these event missions, so I've never actually seen these rats before. And they seem pretty low tech, considering this is supposed to be a space game, but whatever, it's an event, so they can have their fun. Yeah, this thing kind of looks like a bug or something. Weird. Anyway, I'll speed this up so you can watch me rat, see how it applies the damage. One thing I did notice is that the resistance profile of these rats is very high in EM resistance, and the Assault Pulsar Heavies are very, EM heavy on their damage profile. So as we're going through the rats, you can really see the difference compared to like the Caldari ones I was just shooting. I haven't looked closely at the integrated versions of these pulsars just because they're so astronomically expensive, but yeah, these assault pulsars definitely don't apply well to these elite sleepers. Anyway, I'll fast forward the rest of this and then I'll kind of see how long it takes me to do this anon. So again, for those of you who rat, that took me 3 minutes and 40 seconds to do that anom. Woohoo. Alright guys, so now I have a slightly different build, and this is based more for PvP, so of course I'm running Bombard Tactics. Now, I've only been able to get my hands on a level 7 shield booster output GU, but I also just put a neutralizer GU on, micro warp drive, the advanced unit, and a couple DCU ones just to make full use of the capital DCU. Okay, let's look at the fit, because I did adjust it slightly. Now this fit I'm probably going to change. I think I'm going to add one more integration, but I put this 3P on and I just did shield boost mount, anti-thermal, and activation time adjustment for the shield boosters, because I think that's actually where the Nidhoger fails, is its slow shield booster activation time. So I hope that'll kind of help me tank a bit more. Then I just put an anti-EM here because the base resistances for the Nidhoger were so low in EM. But I think I'm actually going to replace this with another integrated rig, except instead of with the thermal, I'm going to put the anti-EM there just to kind of balance it out a bit more. See if I can reduce my cycle time and boost my boost amount a little bit more as well. So right now I have the burst mod running, and I'm 554 in this, so I'm almost getting like the best bonuses. So I am getting a little bit more shield, a bit more resistance, and I should be saving a bit of cap on using the battery, the boosters. But I mean, I don't know really how much that does. Like, you're still burning a lot of cap. So what I first wanted to try is how many boosts I could get with a battery going. Here, I'm just going to put that here. So looks like 2, maybe 3 cycles before I run through the battery. Ooh. So I'm basically, yeah, so 4 cycles, and I'm all the way through. So that would have been a rep of, what is that? 60k times 2, so 120k times 4. That's 480,000 shield hit points for one battery, or just over one battery. So that would have been almost all my shield hit points. So if I'm able to space out my batteries and only run my reps when I need to, I should be able to rep a decent amount of incoming damage. I'm not sure if I maybe switch to using a different battery GU. Maybe I could get a little bit more oomph out of the batteries, but I also am kind of terrified of increasing the cooldown time for the batteries. So I don't think I'll do that. Anyway, I'm going to fly this thing over to where I have one of my Nagelfars, and we're going to do a little tank test next. Okay, everybody, here we are in one of my little low-sec bases. Now that I've shown everybody where my low-sec base is, it's probably not going to be here anymore, but let's have a look. So I actually have another Nidhoger here, and I just want to take a moment to say that the new Nidhoger icon is way cooler. But let's look at this Nidhoger for comparison. So if I set this one active, this one is definitely a bit more DPS fit. It's got 3 burst rigs, or 2 burst rigs and 1 firepower rig. But I don't have the hanger mod on this. It's just a little bit too shit for that. I have these assault guards, and naturally, I don't have enough to put on the other ship, so I can't try those out. But let's go back to the ship we actually are trying to look at here. Unfortunately, the nanocore on this Nidhoger is not available yet on the new Nidhoger. So I can't even put this nice, juicy 19% more damage onto the Navy issue yet. Okay, so let's go ahead and undock, and let's do this tank test.
Undocking.
Okay, here we are. And there's a scary Nagelfar over there, exhibiting its vertical supremacy. So this Nagelfar, I fitted up, and it's got about 25,000 DPS. So that should be like a decent amount of DPS to test ourselves against. It's not going to be as much as a Blop fleet, because a Blop fleet is probably more like 100,000 DPS, but it'll still give us a kind of a good baseline. I'm just going to come a little bit closer. I want to be closer to the autocannon's optimal range. It looks like the autocannon's optimal range is about 15 kilometers, but it has a 70 kilometer fall off. So as long as we're at about 30, you should be applying almost maximum DPS to us. Blah, blah, blah. Let's just move our mods around a little bit here. So I got this new mod, and to be honest, I've been a little busy and I haven't really read into them, but it seems like you share damage. So if he damages me, I think that that Naglfar will also get damaged. But I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so I got my hardeners on. I got my boosters ready. He's going to go ahead and start aggressing us. So that's actually pretty freaking underwhelming. So I might have him hit his implant. This account has the artillery implant at level 45, so it gets like a 25% damage bonus when you hit the artillery implant. So he's going to do that. He's also going to hit his gyros. So now that Naglfar is at about 45,000 DPS. So that's a pretty good test. So to be honest, this is like buffering pretty damn good. Oh wow. So it does almost seem dread-like, to be honest. Okay, so we got about 3 good reps out of that. Now while it's aggressing us, let's have a look at how hard our bombard hits this. So one thing I don't really like about the mechas is the activation time is really low. So that means like your alpha with bombard is not going to be as nice. If you compare it to like a furball, for example, the activation time is a bit longer and the alpha damage is a bit higher. And I think when they introduced these fighters, they purposefully made their activation time fast because of bombard. Anyway. So 60,000 alpha. That's pretty damn good. I mean, these are primarily EM damage, so they're going to be doing really good damage to the Naglfar. And yeah, the Naglfar has absolutely no problem repping through that damage. So I mean, really, if I had these two accounts going at it, I mean, this fight would last hours. Okay, guys, I almost forgot about this, but the next thing we're going to test is how this guy works here. This is the Nullify Quantum Entanglement. It says it does 20% damage entanglement, and it hits the target with minus 60% flight velocity, and it warp jams them for 10. And it gives you more fighter shield resistance, so your fighters will be harder to kill. So I imagine if you were getting blopped, for example, you could easily put this on a target, kill them, and your fighters would hopefully not get alpha while you were killing that target. So it would probably be pretty handy just for maintaining that. And you can imagine if you're getting hit by about 50 blobs and 20% of that damage is quote unquote entangling a subcap, and normally those blobs are glass fit, so they'd be hit by a huge amount of damage. I can imagine them dying super quickly. Now what I don't know is because what I do know is that this is not something that like cycles like a scram or something. This is something that runs and that has a cooldown time. So it's not going to be something that's going to hop from target to target, I don't think. But I wonder if during the 30 or 60 seconds or whatever it is, let's see, 30 seconds that is activated, I wonder if it'll hop between targets if you can, so you can kill them one by one. But I don't know. I guess I'll have to wait till I'm tackled and blocked to figure that one out. Okay, I'm going to start applying damage with my Naglfar again. Oops, I gotta siege up on that tune. Hardener's running. Another thing we didn't look at is how much EHP I get when I activate this bad boy. That's pretty serious. Holy crap. Actually, I think the way I rigged this Nidhoger really balanced out the resistances quite well. And that, even though I have both the GUs running, so it looks like I have 31-second activation. And what's the cooldown? Reactivation, 273, so like 4 minutes. Let's look at what the base stats of this are. So 16 and 35 seconds. So I lose about 4 seconds, but I gain, ooh, now I'm taking damage. But I gain about, 4% resistances. And some of that is passive too, so I do get a pretty nice little buff from those GUs. Okay, so let's try this quantum entanglement generator now. So I think his shield should drop when he hits me. Okay, see, it did kind of. So I just looked at my other screen. It looks like I'm losing 9,000 health, but I gave like 41,000 damage to the Nidhoger. So this probably isn't going to be super useful in like. Oh, let's look at the fighter EHP as well. What's that EHP on here? Okay, 5,594. I don't think it actually says EHP though. Oh, it turned off. So yeah, 5,594. Yeah, I still can't believe how well this thing reps. It's just insane. So actually the reactivation time isn't too bad on this thing. So really in a prolonged fight, like, you could really make use of this thing. Okay, now let's check the drone fighter defense. So okay, it goes up to 9,000. So that's pretty significant, but I mean, these things are still pretty squishy. I don't have all the fighter defense skills up yet, so I'm sure some other people would have much chunkier assault pulsars. And look at that, he's already at 80% health, and that's just for me using the quantum entangler, or whatever the hell you want to call it. Quantum entanglement generator. That's right. Alright, well guys, I'm going to call the video there. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give me a like.